Hey folks, welcome back. It's another beautiful day. The humidity has kind of gone away a little bit. A whole lot better than it was. It's about 83. So, getting a lot done, right? Me and my 81-year-old stepdad just hauled out about 2/4 wood, marked it, split it up on the wood splitter, and it's all piled. That was done in the sun. That wasn't fun at all, folks. So I learned a long time ago that if I was going to be around the chainsaw that I needed to wear eye protection, right? So I had those on, and every time I'd bend over to pick up a stick of wood, sweat was coming right on the inside, dripping and running right down my safety glasses. So it was rather warm. So I drink a lot of water here. My stepdad is dehydrated all the time. He thinks in order for him to stay hydrated, all he has to do is drink 8 ounces of water. I will drink and drink and drink and drink until I start feeling I need to go to the bathroom. So when I drink a glass of water and I have to go to the bathroom, that's when I know that I'm hydrated enough to continue on. That's how I do it. But he's always dehydrated, but he's lived 81.5 years on minimal water, so I guess he's doing something right for himself, right? So I can't do that. So remember I told you my well is dry, right? We got that almost 2 inches of rain. It really didn't add up to much for the water table whatsoever, but I started my generator, started my pump to my well, and did a little test to see, one, if there was any water, and two, what the water looked like. Let me show you what my well water looks like, folks. Isn't that pretty? Real pretty, huh? So, doesn't look like I'm going to be drinking that. And it tastes pretty good. I did taste it. It does taste pretty good, but you can taste the iron in it. So I guess I'll have to wait. And while we're sitting on the deck in the shade, me drinking water, him sipping it, right? We talked about how the world has just gone to hell. And the weather is like really, really weird, really strange. And we both agreed that water is necessary to bring that water table up before winter, right? I would really hate to go through winter without being able to get water from my well. That would really, really stink, right? So there's the update there. I've come up here in the garden to deal with my bush beans and to go around and look for bugs. So far, so good. It's been pretty good. I caught all of them just in time, and that's why it's important to really take a walk through your garden at least once a day. Catch them when they first start, and it'll save you a lot of headache, right, throughout the season. Your plants will thank you for it too. So as we were sitting there taking a break in the shade, drinking water, my stepdad, again, he's 81 years old. He's got that old, I keep telling him he's got that old fart thinking, as in the world has gone to hell, but we'll always manage to get by. And I asked him, I said, he grew up in a family of 13 children, and his father died when he was very young. So he knew the struggles. He grew up struggling, and he grew up learning to run the homestead. The girls grew up learning to run the homestead. The girls grew up learning to water bath at a very young age, how to preserve food. And he reminded me of what they used to eat for breakfast an awful lot when they didn't have any food. They always had eggs, right? Because they had chickens. But he still talks, they had a cow. He still talks about breakfast growing up, popcorn and milk. Pop the popcorn, put it in the milk with, like you would cereal, like a box of cereal. And that's what they would eat. They would eat popcorn cereal. Not his favorite, he thought. Not his favorite at all. And when they got tired of that, they would make some bread and they would have, instead of popcorn, they would add pieces of bread to their milk and eat their breakfast that way. Everybody's responsibility was to work whatever was needed and gather in the food, processing the food. They would go fishing, they would go hunting. He also told me they were so poor that they could not afford fish hooks. So he would take a safety pin and make that into a fish hook and get a pole with a piece of string, tie something or hook something on the safety pin hook, and it was their job every day to go down and try to catch some fish. So he also went on to say that he grew up in an area where skills allowed them to survive, right? They allowed them to survive. So everybody in the family knew how to do everything. The guys tended to stay away from the kitchen. Went during processing time, when they'd water bath, they water bath on the wood cook stove right there in the kitchen, inside the house. And the guys would be out hunting or planting or gathering or butchering, right? The guys just didn't like the heat whatsoever. And there was always, as he always says, Mother only cooked enough for that one meal because she was feeding 13 growing children, right? And over half of those were boys with a big appetite, right? So he said Mother always only cooked enough to eat that one meal. There was no leftovers at all. Now, feeding 13 mouths, that's a lot of food, folks, right? So no one had eggs unless everybody could have an egg for breakfast. So, for the people that grew up in that generation, they already have those skills, right? And they're very valuable for those of us who did not grow up in that generation. I know I stress skills, folks. Skills are so important. If you couldn't get to the store to get your food, do you have all of everything you need to make your bread? Do you have everything you need or know how to make everything you need from scratch? That's quite a skill, right? And learn to make do. A lot of people don't have those skills, folks. All they know is going out to eat, going through the drive-thru, or pre-made food. You just heat it up, open the box, add water, add milk, add an egg. So a lot of the younger generation are a lot like that. A lot of the people my age are a lot like that. So I'm thankful every day that I can hold my own. Now, would I think that I would be the best cook? No. My idea is spices, salt and pepper, and maybe some cayenne, right? So I eat very simple here. I eat very simple. A lot of my meals, I don't mind eating cold. I just don't mind doing that. And the point is, well, the point of eating for me is to eat to keep myself healthy. I really try not to eat with my eyes. I really not to try to eat that will feel good in the mouth, which is always fine, right? Which is always good, because you don't want to eat something that's bitter all the time. Or I'm not a big fan of sugar whatsoever, but I do have some in the house, and every once in a while, I'm not a big sweet eater at all. I would rather have pasta or something made with flour, you know, those carbs, which turn to sugar, right? Which, you know how that goes. But so obviously I'm not starving. I'm a pretty big girl, and again, I'm in pretty good shape. I feel that I have enough skills to survive. I feel that I do, and I would find a way to get what I felt I needed. If I was craving meat, which I do, I'm a meat eater, folks. I'm a meat eater. If I was craving meat, then I've got birds that I raise, right? If I was craving something sweet, which I never do, if I was craving something sweet, I can plop a horehound candy in my mouth, right? Or a lemon drop in my mouth, right? And that would satisfy me. Now my stepdad, who is 81, he is a huge person with sweets. He'll eat pies, he'll eat cakes, he'll eat cookies, he'll eat a whole pint of ice cream in one sitting, folks. Anything that is sweet, he would make a meal out of that. So he would know not to come to me for something sweet, because I don't make anything sweet, folks. So I guess that's it for now. I've got to do something with my beans. I'll give them one more look over and pick any that are ready, and take real close examination of whether I should pull those plants today or wait a few more days. I've got a cabbage that's ready. I got jalapenos that are ready. I've got Swiss chard that's ready. Probably have cucumbers today. So I did pull up a few turnips. And Kimmy, if you are watching this, Kimmy, I'm going to come closer. My birds do not like turnip, honey. They don't like turnip greens. They don't like turnips, period. So it's a good thing I do, right? It's a good thing I do. So I bet if I couldn't feed them anything besides turnip, I bet they would eat them, right? Just like me. If I was hungry and didn't have anything else but mushrooms to eat, I would eat the mushrooms, and I would be thankful, right? I would be thankful, because at least it is something, folks, right? So I'm going to stop this for now. I know it's getting long and I ramble, so I will probably edit some of this out, so it might be a little choppy when I finish it. The responsible thing right now is not to stand in front of the camera, but to tend to my garden, okay?